Hello all and welcome to TaleInferno. My name is Charlotte and today we are talking about symbolism. So, if you're a writer or someone who has studied creative writing, or even if you're just a creator of a story, maybe you write things for video games or for movies or TV shows, whoever you are in the creative industries, you probably know quite a bit about symbolism. I mean, it's just drilled into our heads in school, ever since I can remember learning about, analyzing stories or even just reading them in general. It's always been, how can you interpret this? What does this mean? Are you able to see the abstract, the ambiguous? How can you do it? Can you interpret? It's a whole thing, trying to make our minds see other things, the underlying meanings. So you're probably thinking, why are we talking about it? Well, why not? Symbolism is a massive part of writing, and a lot of people like to use it. I mean, it's something that we don't necessarily, I suppose we can avoid using symbolism, but it provides that depth to stories, and I think it's really important. Now, if you're seeing this and you're wondering what the hell is a symbol or what is symbolism, well, let me tell you. Symbolism or symbols themselves are pretty much objects that mean something else. So some obvious ones could be like a black cat equals to bad luck, or a four-leaf clover equals to good luck, that kind of interpretation, taking an object that is something but it means something else. Like in a story, it can provide that extra depth. So if there's an object that gets put into a scene and a writer or a director or whoever puts it deliberately in that scene, and there's a lot of focus on it, then generally it's a symbol for something. And that's where it can get a little bit confusing as well. I mean, particularly in this day and age, a lot of objects have been, there are heaps of different meanings behind tons of objects. It's just because writing has expanded so much. I mean, there are so many classics out there now, and there's going to be tons more classics as the years go on. And as we develop in our writing, or when we're developing our stories or whatever, we as creators of stories want to create an original symbol. So that's where ambiguity becomes, it becomes very dangerous, because sometimes people just can't interpret it and we have to make it quite obvious. Symbolism is a really tricky, tightrope to walk on, because you don't want to be too obvious with what your symbols are, and you also don't want to be, too liberal with them, and you don't want too many. There's tons of reasons why, you've got to find the perfect balance when it comes to symbolism, to be able to get the reader or the audience to think, to really think about what's going on, to make those interpretations themselves and to have their own journey in the story. But, we don't want to confuse them too much, and we also don't want to disconnect them from the story with symbolism. And then there's also the other side where, someone will create a story, either write a book or direct a movie or write a script or whatever, and we go a little bit over the top with it. Like, sometimes we can just interpret everything. I know I interpret everything a lot, and that could be to my own detriment, because I'll just confuse myself. But writers will generally deliberately put symbols into books when they want them to be symbols. And the best way to understand when something is a symbol is to see whether or not they agree that something is, or if they say that it is. At the end of the day, the person who creates the stories knows what they have deliberately done. You see those things on the internet all the time, may it be memes or whatever, that talk about the over exaggeration of interpretations, where a teacher will say, oh, but the blue on the curtains, it means that they were really depressed in this moment. And it's like, well, did the creator of this story really want that to happen? Was that deliberate? Ooh, maybe they just like the color blue. That's where interpretations can get a little bit over the top. I mean, if there's evidence that the creator of the story did actually mean those curtains to be blue for that reason, well, then there you go, that's a symbol. But, it's all about being careful. So if we are creating stories, it's all about being very careful with it. Another important point about symbolism is that I have seen it happen, they can be confused with themes or motifs, which are a little bit different, and I will talk about them in another vlog separately. But to give you a bit of a distinction between them, themes really are the overarching concept or idea throughout a whole story, whereas motifs are smaller than that. They're like smaller versions of themes, and they're just like reoccurring incidents or images or events that equal to mean something. Like they are an important part in a story if it continues to recur. That's what a motif is. That's a very plain and simple explanation of both. They've got their own complexities to them as well, and I will explain them further in future vlogs, so keep an eye out for them. To give you a short summary about what symbols are, or what symbolism is, basically they're just objects that infer something else. They are something else. They can be interpreted to mean something else. I think symbols are great ways to provide depth to a story, and I do think that symbolism, using it, it's, as I said, it's a very hard tightrope to walk on. You've got to make sure that it's balanced. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. You don't want to make it too obvious. You know, yeah, exactly. But yeah, great way to add depth and somewhat mystery and everything like that. It can be very great for foreshadowing. All in all, just great. Anyway, that's it from me. If you like this video, give it a like. If you have anything to say about symbolism, or you have your own comments that you would like to make, go ahead and put them in the comments, either on TaleInferno or on the YouTube channel, or even on social media. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. If you love this content and you want to see more, there's going to be tons more content coming out soon, and I'm super excited to show it all to you. Make sure to subscribe or keep an eye out on TaleInferno. Anyway, as I said, that's it from me. Remember to ignite the story, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!